Kuzangpla and welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. First, the top stories this week. Their Majesties return from a royal tour of the eastern districts. Million Trees Initiative launched to revive fallow lands, help farmers economically and conserve environment. And the country temporarily suspends import of foreign workers. And now the details. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gelson arrived in Thimphu after concluding a royal tour of the Eastern Dzongkhas. Their Royal Highnesses Gelse Juminamge and Gelse Ugyawangchuk accompanied their Majesties.
To mark their Royal Highnesses' first visit to Tashkang, the people of Tashkang offered Kusung Thukten Mende. Earlier in the week, His Majesty visited Borangma in Mongar, one of the 5 sites identified to serve as Gelsung training centers, to inspect the ongoing works. Their Majesties also visited Tashkang and Mongar town and met with their people. The royal tour to the east from 26th March covered Bumtang, Mongar, Pembakatsel, Tashigang, Lunsi and Tashiangtsi. Her Majesty Gyum Siringyangden Wangchuk, His Royal Highness Gesab Jigmedoj Wangchuk and Ajit Sulamo accompanied their Majesties. Sonamongdi, BBS News.
Although Bhutan is decorated and covered with rich floral diversity, many lands are left fallow across the country. To revive the fallow lands, help farmers economically and conserve the environment, Bhutan Ecological Society started the Million Trees Initiative. Over 1 million commercially valuable trees, including fruit trees, will be planted in the next 5 years across the country.
Her Royal Highness Princess Chimi Yangzum Wangchuk launched the initiative by planting a tree in Kabisa in Thimphu. Some 50 farmers of Kabisa received fruit tree saplings. Different fruit tree saplings were also distributed to farmers in Trongsa, Jemgang and Tsirang. Bhutan Ecological Society distributed more than 2,000 saplings free of cost with support from the Bhutan Foundation.
Our main idea is to, number one, provide communities with alternative livelihood so that they are doing something that will at least earn them some money, some income. And number two, that all of that kind of activity is also contributing to our environment, to our ecology.
Farmers and youth group over here, they are much more interested and they are cooperative and they are willing to plant trees whenever we get saplings from Bhutan Ecological Society.
And farmers welcomed the initiative.
All tree saplings are fruit-bearing trees and it is distributed according to their suitable growth environment. I'm very happy today that I got the tree saplings from Her Royal Highness. I'm going to take care of the trees well.
We were taught how to plant fruit saplings today. We are very interested to grow fruit trees because firstly, it helps our environment, and secondly, we get to eat fruits that will keep our body healthy.
The Bhutan Ecological Society is a non-profit organization with the goal of building sustainable and resilient communities. And this initiative is expected to just do that. With additional information from Pema Tsewang, Sringdandu for BBS News.
With over 70% of forest coverage, Bhutan is well known for its rich forest. But not all is well inside its lush green environment. Trees are dying because of pests and diseases. To monitor the health of the forest, the Ugyawangchuk Institute for Conservation and Environment Research started using drones.
Adding an extra hand to its arsenal, conservationists and foresters are now using drones to monitor the environment. This is just a demo. This $1,300 drone was bought from the US, but every time they fly the drones, they need approval from the Bhutan Civil Aviation Authority. The first time a team of conservationists used a drone to monitor forest damages was in 2018 in Ha. And this is what they found. These white trees are dead because of the bark beetle outbreak. It helped to detect the extent of the damage. The trees die once attacked by the bark beetles. The drone covered an area of close to 65 acres of the blue pine forest, which is otherwise inaccessible.
When the field officers they went to the field, and it was very difficult for them to make an assessment of what area has been damaged because it is a huge area. So for that reason, if you really fly a drone and then try to have a bird's eye view of what is happening on the ground, it's much more easier. What can be done in weeks can be done within few minutes.
After that, the dead trees were cut. The team intends to revisit the forest at Lonchu in Ha.
Possibilities are limitless. Here right now we are just talking about the potential of using a drone in terms of monitoring a species or a habitat. But if you really look beyond that one, it has the potential to even apply in terms of law enforcement in forestry and also in combating poaching activities. And elsewhere across the world, they have even said that drones are used for seeding and reforesting.
This is just the beginning of the use of technology in environmental projects in Bhutan. The institute plans to monitor forests using satellite and drone technology. Phukem for BBS News.
The Tserang court convicted two former tellers of the Bhutan Development Bank Limited's branch office in the district for embezzling over 17 million yutum. The convicts, both female, were ordered a prison term of 12 years each. The judgment was passed on Wednesday.
According to the judgment, the former tellers, both 32 years old, embezzled more than 17 million yutum between 2012 and March 2019. They forged and tampered the bank books of 67 clients. The court also ordered the convicts to repay the amount along with an interest of 15% within 6 months from the day the judgment has been passed. The case surfaced in March 2019 when one of the clients had to come to withdraw money. However, there was no balance in the person's account. The Tserang police then arrested the convicts. Meanwhile, the Bhutan Development Bank Limited had refunded the embezzled amount to the affected clients in 2019. For Pematong in Tserang, this is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
An erroneous belief is slowly seeping into the lives of many Bhutanese following the first jab of the COVID-19 vaccine recently. People are disregarding safety norms such as washing hands, frequently using soap, wearing masks and physical distancing. According to health experts, this is worrying. They warn against the sense of COVID-19 complacency.
Against the increasing threat from the coronavirus, hand-washing facilities were set up in public places across the country. They were even made compulsory outside every establishment only to remain underutilized. Observers say the habit of wearing a mask is gradually fading. After the nationwide vaccination campaign launched last year, people are seen taking fewer precautions.
I come
across passengers who do not wear a mask. When we tell them to do so, some say they already took the first dose and it is okay not to wear a mask anymore. Even in town, I don't see people observing physical distancing. When we try to remind them, they say the number of cases in the country has reduced. Moreover, they say people are now vaccinated.
While on duty, I observed that people are taking the safety measures lightly after receiving the first dose. They act as if the virus is no more in the country. People crowding is becoming more common. I think people should think twice before doing such things.
According to health experts, the first shot of the COVID-19 vaccine is not enough to protect people from the virus.
There is a section of population which they are not immunized or vaccinated. Even though we are partially vaccinated and we may be having little bit of immunity, because the full protection will come only when we take 2 doses of vaccine and 2 weeks after that. By full protection, I mean, like it is not that 100% of us who are immunized will get the protection. The Covishield vaccine on recent study has said that the protection is about 82%.
The health ministry says, regardless of receiving the first jab or not, people should continue using face masks, observe physical distancing, and practice hand hygiene.
We must understand that 30% of our population below the ages of 18 years are still not protected. They are still very vulnerable. So I think we have the responsibility to continue our non-pharmaceutical interventions or precautionary measures such as face masks, use of face masks, hand washing, social distancing, and really avoiding unnecessary mass gathering.
Even after a mass vaccination rollout, the situation is attributed mainly to people becoming complacent besides the emergence of more infectious variants. The World Health Organization has also been reminding that the rollout of vaccines will not by itself eliminate the deadly virus. At the same time, health experts worldwide say the fight against the global health emergency is far from over, and Bhutan, despite its commendable efforts to control the pandemic, remains vulnerable. Kelsang Chodin for BBS News.
Bhutan temporarily suspended bringing in foreign workers. The Prime Minister mentioned this as he shared his concerns over the increasing COVID-19 cases in the neighboring countries. Recently, India reported more than 200,000 new cases and over 1,000 deaths from the virus. The Prime Minister said the move is to lower the risks of importing virus into the country.
Sushanalera dasumi ese shunibi iru taregi kapchiga niji yumidi thymisu ma shochira yupchi jachale jacha zumchira teta ngachira gyakab bewachin tenga chichimza gyakab indeli omi cham chile thendola laluji kongi maregi mi ngachina labi mi omi dusuli themme laluji ngachiri drubi mi indeli omi su themme te malamagi nesulda tada dajugi lojure ngen berwe te malo atada madobe jome ese nijiti 다링아치 순드 나베 베이캅로에 데다 내주 속중기 튀미디스에 가라기 다또또 춘춘아치기 빼주기 내땅로 토포데 포로 중기til로 토포데에세 데 마지바 데딴 답마디우 같이 튀니베로 쪼쪼라 니지딜레 가습지 여바친 데가치 인연칸레니 명오세 다다레 내갑지기 띠도 팔장집에 수바친 세 가라기 데베 숭베베니디기 데다리랭 구추디기베 데다니 라비미 라이업지수 아치치 데 팔장 베고베에세 다랭아치기 각차베도 세슈니빌라.
Issues related to water and road conditions dominated the discussion as the 3 trumpet candidates of Thimphu faced each other during the public debate. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, this time the debate was conducted with a limited audience, seated, maintaining physical distancing. It was telecast live on national television.
Water, a topic in the capital city that makes news more often than not, sparked the debate. Sonam Doji, the youngest candidate of the 3, promised a free drinking water supply to the residents if elected. He said access to free drinking water is people's fundamental right.
Tato chugu teke gose tim gatwe mindu se shunila. Ni bolu ngachara druga kapki cha tim. Chugi tim nalu kachike de du se wachin. Druga kapki ranjing gi ju in se ke de dula. Ngachara druga kapki ranjing gi ju im doji ba wachin. Ngachi druga kapki misir gi ju in se shunila. Rangi judi rangi turtuebe nyomi tumidi gaimi se shunila. Ta nyamcho bebe tunigi lojidi ta che sosoba dude du se shunila. Ta to yeme chudi tama pise mindu se shunila. Pise mebe kar rin lamdalu ngar ngosa de masu se shunila.
Ugen Doji, having worked as a deputy chief urban planner with the Thimphu Thomde, was quick to react to the pledge.
태계고민이 가지고 깨도 세워진 추 염주 벽원이기기 최고 계급이 있으시니라. 델렌 디더 뛴디 도로 추 데 마헤딥 깨고니 디기 데 디다 디케우달루 데 텔렌데 디기 준람로 텔렌티다 더위기 데 추징로 디수 짭고 니 디기 데 딜루 깨위 세슈니라 슈코랄루 디디 테자다 뿔레 미 세슈니라 데 나라기 냠로 소놈 도지기 슈미디 도토 춘척이 바나 코라 대화 간에 탑탑 미니 디기 데 임베에세.
Considering his past experience, the candidate from the Junshina Kawajansa constituency was asked why the Thomde failed in implementing its plans. Ugyen Doji replied that plans need to be implemented based on priority. As the discussion shifted towards the roads within the Thomde, the former Thompekile Doji was questioned. Sonam Doji said the roads are of poor quality.
야마기 내 땅 배워진 땅아자라 주춘 레진로 로메 레진로 디즘바라 땡아제 톰데 배우달루 디날로에 야마 배워진 대둔 남섬에 민둘라 다닐레 덴디기 베타 람데 조사우다라 뽑고 대 땅아지기 가데 다타 대 지카라 뛴데베 땡아지 되등기 톨레베 때도도 케이블 닥디스에 조디기베 배우달루 대 람보니디 뉴스 지조도 세슈니라.
The three candidates can continue their campaign till 26th April, 2 days before poll day. There are some 8,000 registered voters in Thimphu Thomde. Pema Saldun Singh, BBS News.
Similarly, in Gelifu Thomde, water issues topped the discussion during the public debate of its trumpet candidates. The two candidates, Tikaram Kafle and Tsring Norbu, went head-to-head on 13th April.
The two candidates, Tikaram Kafle from Jampiling Demkong and Tsring Norbu from Tashiling Demkong, each took turns to try and woo voters of Gelifu Thomde. After the introductory part, each candidate was given the opportunity to question the other person. Candidate Tikaram Kafle asked his opponent how he would fulfill his pledge of ensuring uninterrupted drinking water supply to all homes under the Thomde. The answer, according to Tsring Norbu, is through proper management.
야 파마콜라기 자와 추알람 텐조도 세메라 땡아기 콜리디 차치셔라 야 야레바 콜치 나다세 아네베 다우치리실라네 릭데라 때 줌진 가지나 생아 디테일라 콜로 때 줌진 디다 코로나 바이러스레 텐이 세데 와일링 잡니 미로 야일로 마일로세.
Next, Tsring Norbu's question was about the water treatment plant at the Mao River, which is disrupted by flash floods every year, causing inconveniences to the public. He asked why the former Trompe had not solved the issue during his term in office. Tikaram Kafle, however, said the matter has already been looked into and a decision made to resolve it.
Nyama bewajin te Mao Kolale sugi tapmade unamesame methane sesuni te lo chi ni de jome te khabab gi te ngache gi do pha tonglen beni di ngache chage la semka sadi gi be ngache na gelefuna hemi lungsu haki gopenda chika tindi chap te ngache gi required distance nale achi pha bera chap ge se debe tindi chap digi be.
Gelifu Thomde has a total of around 1,500 registered voters. For Karmawandi in Gelifu, Yisha Gelson, BBS News.
Take another 4 months to restore the third unit or turbine of the Mangdashu hydroelectric power plant in Tongsa. The turbine remained down since September last year. However, officials said the situation did not affect the overall power generation.
At the moment, works are ongoing to reassemble the turbine. Some parts have been polished while the damaged ones replaced. According to the project officials, the turbine was shut down following a flashover inside it. Flashover is a high-voltage electric short circuit made through air between exposed conductors. Since the problem occurred during the operation and maintenance period of the project, the MHP is repairing the machine along with Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, an Indian company. The company supplied the electromechanical equipment to the project. Officials explained that amid the pandemic, it took time for the Indian company to deliver the required parts. Other COVID-19 travel restrictions also hampered the progress. For now, they are expecting to complete the work before deadline, which is June this year. The total cost of the restoration works is estimated at 162 million Newton. Meanwhile, the project authority says there has been no loss in power generation because the problem occurred during the lean season. The water volume then was just enough to run the other 3 turbines. Since the 720 megawatt project commissioned 2 years ago, it generated revenue of around 19.5 billion Newton. Pasa, BBS News, Tromsø.
Life is becoming increasingly difficult for some 12 workers of the national workforce in Jemga. They have not received their wages for the last 2 months, and if the situation continues, many of them are contemplating on leaving their job.
The group works along the Nangkor-Geo connectivity road. They are responsible for keeping the stretch between Dakphil and Buli open to traffic. But for the past 2 months, their will to continue working at the site has been diminishing. On the other hand, challenges are mounting and daily survival is at stake.
We have 2 engineers who look after the works. We informed them of our overdue wages and other associated problems. Shopkeepers have been asking us to clear the credits we took. We were told there was a budget shortage. And during the handing-taking of the GC roads, the workers were transferred under the district administration, but no budget was given.
The shopkeepers are reluctant to give us groceries on credit because we haven't received our wages for the last 2 months. They ask us to clear the previous bill. We have to depend on them for our daily supplies.
We have school-going children to feed. It has been 2 months since we didn't get our wages. On the other hand, our credit in the shops is increasing. We don't know what to do.
Last Sunday, when the BBS visited the site, we came across one of the affected workers requesting a shopkeeper to consider adding a few items on credit to the last 2 months' balance. The district chief engineer says the NWF workers were transferred under the Nangkor Geok administration. The Geok office is supposed to pay them from the road's maintenance budget, which is directly transferred to the Geok's account. He adds the district engineering cell is not involved in this issue. The Nangkor Geok administration claims of not receiving any budget to pay the workers. However, the office says that on Friday, together with the district administration, the budget was reappropriated till June this year. The 12 workers will receive their overdue wages shortly. The existing daily wage rate for each worker is 215 giltam. For Pema Samrup in Jemgang, Sonomongdi, PBS News.
And this brings us to the end of this week's Bhutan This Week, our news magazine program. Until next time, I'm Cheku, signing off only for now.